change at quarterback. Cleveland has benched Joe Flacco after 4 games. Now turning to rookie Dillon Gabriel on the road in London against the Vikings. Flacco now becomes QB2. Shedeur Sanders will remain 3rd on the depth chart. And when asked about the changes, Shedeur had a particular way of addressing the situation. Listen close.
Vocally, anything to say?
I guess one more. I guess what do you think you have to show to the coaches just to have that belief in you that you can be ready.
What can you say?
Oh, sorry, I was pantomiming. I was trying to pull a Shedeur Sanders there. So obviously, he addressed the questions, but did it in a way where we couldn't hear him speak. He chose to pantomime his answers. Stephen A., when you see that video, what's your reaction?
I'm not going to overreact to it. I'm just going to say that he has to know that other people are going to look at him and consider that immature. I don't consider him immature. I think that he can play. I think that he's a leader. I think that a lot is prejudged when it comes to him. I think it's unfair. I can't wait to see him get his chance on the football field or whatever. I just think that at times, I wish people see ahead of time how they're going to judge you and how you should be. They shouldn't judge him. It's no big deal because every word he says, we micromanage, we dissect, and folks judge him accordingly. And I think that was his way of saying, you know what? If you don't hear anything that I have to say, okay, that's cool, and it's not a big deal. But folks are gonna make it out to a big deal. I assure you, there's gonna be some people out there, pointing and using that to say there was immaturity there. I don't believe him to be that kind of a person, an immature person. I think he's a young man. I think he's highly intelligent. I think he's composed. I think he's been exposed to a lot more than a typical 5th-round pick would have been exposed to. Obviously, we know who his daddy is, arguably the greatest athlete who ever lived, and they get judged harshly. All I would say to both, I wouldn't need to say this to Primetime, but I would still say it to him and his son, that attachment, the bottom line is people are going to be ultra critical. Just be mindful of it.
Yeah, I would say this. Number one, everything when you're at that position, no matter where you rank on any kind of depth chart as a quarterback, everything you do and say is a job interview. In the NFL, every moment. I think the second thing is this. That 30 or 40 seconds, Stephen A., while he may not be an immature person, that's an immature moment. It is. Because does that 30 or 40 seconds help you in your own building? Like, is there anybody in the Cleveland Browns that in that building that sit there and go, yep, that's a good moment for Shedeur. He shows growth or maturity, or he handled that well or whatnot. He handled the disappointment. Because in my opinion, I would have had Dillon Gabriel the 1 and Shedeur the 2 this week. So my question is, why is Shedeur not the backup? We're moving on from Joe Flacco. We're trying to figure out who's the starting quarterback or if Gabriel can be a starter in this league. I want to also know that about Shedeur. So why is Shedeur not the backup? That would be a starting point for me. Is that helping you in your own building? And then is that helping you in your outside of your own building? Is there another team, a general manager, a president, a decision maker that's going, I liked that. I think that person's going to help us. I think that person's a good enough player that can help us. I think he can help our building, our organization, our locker room, make us better. And so while he may not be an immature person, and I agree with a lot of things that Stephen A. said, that's an immature moment. And I hope that there's somebody that in Shedeur's circle that says, hey, be yourself. I just don't think that that's helping you when it comes to you solidifying a role in a job at that spot in the NFL.
The conversation with Shedeur Sanders has to be that you can't be yourself. The conversation with Shedeur Sanders has to be that you can't have fun. In his circle and around his people, they think that is part of his charismatic personality. That is part of him understanding how to engage, how to enjoy, how to take something that could be seen as a negative, because as Adam Schefter posted, he believes it was in response to what Rex Ryan had to say about the confident answer he had, saying that I believe I can play in this league. Have you seen other quarterbacks in this league? That was his answer to it. That was his response to it. That if I don't say anything, then you can't then criticize me. And in my estimation, my opinion, my advice would be, then actually don't say anything. don't pantomime, don't have fun,
Say no
don't enjoy it. Say, you know what? I'm the third quarterback. I am working every single day to be the best I can be. Now, it's unfair to a 23-year-old who, in the way I see it, is in the most unique situation we've ever seen a young quarterback be in. There are no other third quarterbacks on the depth chart getting interviewed every day. There are no other third quarterbacks being asked, why aren't you number 2? Why aren't you starting? What do you need to show to the world, to the organization, in order to be that guy? There is no blueprint to what Shedeur Sanders is dealing with. That is the pros and the cons of being Deion Sanders' son.
Yeah.
Right? That's part of it. And so, whereas I agree with what Dan is saying, that's a fair assessment of the situation.
Yeah.
There's also a part for Shedeur Sanders that all of this, the scrutiny, the way he's criticized, the wording that's used is unfair to him, but it's where he is. He has to be aware of that.
So you're saying basically damned if he does, damned if he doesn't.
No, I don't think he's damned if he doesn't. I do believe there is a way to handle this that is a departure from who he truly is. But I also believe we don't have the right to tell him you can't be who you truly are. But in being that, he has to understand how he will be ridiculed and criticized.
Okay. So I think there's, to RC's point, there's plenty of opportunities to say nothing while still saying something. You can answer the question, I don't know, I got to continue to work better, I'm just working to try to get my opportunity. Like, you can say nothing without not literally saying anything.
No,
right?
he needs to be a company man. I feel like we're not, let's just be real. You got to go be a company man. Like, totally. Shedeur Sanders doesn't get to be Shedeur Sanders.
Say the corny answer.
You got to say the corny answer. You got to stick to the company line.
Because my thing is this, there's 64 jobs like this in the world, okay? Quarterback or backup. How many starting quarterbacks do we think would say or act like this or handle it this way? I know that you hate Dak Prescott press conference-wise, but if I were people in Shedeur's circle, and I honestly, if I were someone who had a young player at that position, I'd be like, watch how he handles press conferences, because this is the way to do it. The same with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has been dragged in the media for 3 years now. Never fights back. And that's one of Bill Parcells' commandments, quarterback-wise. The first thing, never respond to the critic. Ever, 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 never. And I'll go back to Baker Mayfield being a young player. Baker Mayfield had some moments in press conference. You're like, Baker, what the heck, dude? But it was more like a fiery fight back, childish in a way response.
No, but see though, like that's what I don't like that, right? I don't like where we separate immaturities and try to give them different adjectives to what they are. Baker was immature, and sometimes not only was Baker immature, Baker was defensive and offensive in the way that he responded to people.
But we had seen that before.
Shedeur Sanders isn't that thing.
But we had
we can't lump them into that.
But we had seen stuff in press conferences from quarterbacks, players, and certainly quarterbacks that were like that, right? Like, we had seen that. I don't know. I don't ever remember seeing a situation like that where a quarterback does the pantomime, or I don't know the exact phrase. We haven't seen that.
There's a few things to compartmentalize here. Number one, Shedeur Sanders should spend some time around Mike Tannenbaum. I mean, talk about the art of saying a lot without saying anything. That man is special. I'm saying that affectionately.
Why is Tannenbaum not saying
getting straight? He's not even here.
No. The backstory to that, D.O., was that Mike Tannenbaum, first of all, the man knows his football, loves